The discovery. The grand spire of the Zenith Empire pierced the purple clouds of Luminara Prime like a crystal needle reaching for the stars. Inside its uppermost chamber, High Admiral Thorne surveyed the holographic display of Earth with growing irritation. His iridescent scales shifted from deep blue to amber, a clear sign of his agitation. "Impossible," he muttered, his four eyes narrowing simultaneously. "Run the analysis again." First scientist Vera adjusted her gravity field and floated closer to the display. Her crystalline form caught the light from three suns, sending rainbow patterns dancing across the chamber walls. "The results are consistent, Admiral. Earth's biosphere contains the highest concentration of quantum resonance we've ever encountered. It's literally swimming in it, and the humans have no idea." Thorne's scales rippled with disbelief. "None," Vera confirmed, her voice carrying the musical undertone characteristic of her species. "They're using primitive fusion technology, while sitting on enough quantum resonance to power our entire empire for millennia." The implications made Thorne's head spin. Quantum resonance was the lifeblood of the Zenith Empire, the energy source that powered their ships, sustained their cities, and maintained their dominance over 12 galaxies. And now they'd found a planet practically made of it. "What about the inhabitants?" he asked, though he already knew the answer. The Empire's protocols regarding lesser species were absolute. "Technically primitive," Vera replied, but there was something in her tone that made Thorne look at her sharply. "Though their development curve is unusual." "Unusual how?" Vera projected another series of charts. "They advance from primitive combustion engines to basic spaceflight in less than a century. Their adaptive capacity is unprecedented, and their creativity." She paused, seemingly struggling to find the right words. "They solve problems in ways that shouldn't work, yet somehow do." In the lower levels of the chamber, junior council member Starweaver listened intently, her luminescent form dimmed to near invisibility, a trick she'd learned in her early days of political maneuvering. As the youngest member ever appointed to the Zenith Council, she'd learned the value of being overlooked. "Prepare the harvesting protocols," Thorne commanded. "Standard procedure. We'll inject the resonance extractors into their planet's core. The process should take approximately 1 of their years." "And the humans?" Vera asked quietly. "The process will render their planet uninhabitable." "Unfortunate, but necessary for the greater good of the Empire." Thorne's scales settled into a deep purple, the color of absolute authority. "Besides, they're too primitive to relocate successfully. The shock would destroy their society anyway." Starweaver felt her inner light pulse with shock. She'd seen the same reports they had, but she'd also seen the ones they hadn't, the classified transmissions from their advanced scouts. Humans had already detected several of their cloaked observation posts. They'd reversed-engineered pieces of scattered Zenith technology found in crashed probe sites. Most importantly, they'd started developing quantum shielding technology, albeit crude versions. They weren't primitive. They were dangerous. As the chamber emptied, Starweaver accessed the secure archives through her neural link. There had to be more to this. The Empire never moved this quickly without reason. In the depths of the classified files, she found it. Project Eclipse. Her light dimmed further as she read, horror growing with each word. The quantum resonance wasn't just abundant on Earth. It was unique. It had evolved alongside organic life, creating patterns the Empire's scientists couldn't replicate. And the humans, through their chaotic, unpredictable development, had begun unconsciously tapping into it. Given time, they might master it naturally, something the Empire had failed to do in 10,000 years of trying. They weren't harvesting Earth's resources. They were eliminating a threat. Starweaver copied the files and encrypted them in her personal cache. Then she did something that would have been considered treason in any other circumstance. She began composing a message to her old friend, Ambassador Nixus, currently stationed in the Sol system as part of the diplomatic observation team. "The Empire is lying to us both," she wrote. "The humans aren't the primitive species they claim. They're an evolutionary endpoint we never achieved, and the Council is terrified of them. As she sent the encrypted message through quantum channels, Starweaver realized she had just committed herself to an irreversible path. The Empire would eventually discover her betrayal. But as she watched Thorne and his advisors plotting humanity's extinction, she knew she'd made the right choice. Because if the classified files were correct, humanity wasn't just another species to be harvested or relocated. They were the first real chance in millennia to break the Empire's monopoly on quantum energy. And if there was one thing Starweaver had learned in her years on the Council, it was that monopolies enforced through genocide needed to be broken. She just hoped Ambassador Nixis would understand the significance of what she'd discovered before the Empire's harvesters arrived. Because once they started, not even the legendary human capacity for adaptation would save Earth. The fate of two civilizations now rested on a message hurling through quantum space, racing against time and the machinery of an empire that had never known defeat. Infiltration. Ambassador Nixis stood before the full-length mirror in her Earth quarters, watching her holographic disguise flicker slightly before stabilizing into human form. The quantum processor embedded in her crystalline core worked overtime to maintain the illusion of soft skin, dark hair, and the proper number of limbs. After 3 months on Earth, she still found the bipedal form restrictive. Message decrypt complete. Her neural interface chimed. Starweaver's warning materialized in her consciousness, each word hitting like a quantum pulse. Extinction protocols, harvesting operations, hidden evolutionary patterns. Well, she muttered to her reflection, that complicates things. A knock at her door interrupted her thoughts. Ambassador. It was Commander Jackson from the United Earth Defense Force, right on schedule for their weekly cultural exchange meeting. If he only knew he was really part of the Empire's threat assessment protocol. One moment, she called, double-checking her disguise. The door slid open to reveal Jackson's tall frame. Despite herself, Nixis had grown to appreciate the efficiency of human military bearing, so different from the Empire's elaborate ceremonial poses. I brought coffee, Jackson said, holding up 2 cups from the base cafe. Thought you might need it after yesterday's quantum physics briefing. Nixis accepted the cup, hiding her amusement. The human's addiction to this bitter stimulant had become something of a joke among Empire observers, though privately she'd grown rather fond of it herself. Yet another detail absent from her official reports. Actually, Commander, I was hoping to discuss your recent advances in quantum shielding technology. She watched his reaction carefully, particularly the anomalous readings from Project Firewall. Jackson's expression didn't change, but his pulse rate spiked. Her disguise's sensors were quite thorough. That's classified information, Ambassador. I wasn't aware the Zenith Empire had access to those files. We don't, she admitted. But we have our ways of gathering data. Your species is surprisingly adept at quantum manipulation, even if you don't fully understand what you're doing. Is that a compliment or a threat? Neither. An observation. Nixis set down her coffee. Commander, what I'm about to tell you violates every protocol in Empire diplomatic code. But I believe Earth has roughly 8 months before everything changes. Over the next hour, she laid out the truth, the Empire's plans, the real reason for their interest in Earth, and the classified data about humanity's unique evolution alongside quantum energy. Jackson listened without interruption, his expression growing darker with each revelation. Why are you telling me this? He finally asked. You're betraying your own people. Am I? Nix's holographic form flickered slightly as her emotional subroutines struggled to maintain stability. The Empire has existed for 10,000 years through absolute control of quantum energy. We've harvested worlds, displaced species, all in the name of maintaining that control. But you humans, she gestured at the quantum shield designs on his tablet. You developed quantum technology by accident, through intuition, and what you call thinking outside the box. Do you know how terrifying that is to a civilization built on rigid control? Jackson leaned back, studying her with new intensity. "You're not just here to warn us, are you? You want something else." "Help," Nixes said simply. "Not just for Earth, but for every species that suffered under the Empire's monopoly." Starweaver, my contact on the Council, believes humanity might be the key to breaking the Empire's control of quantum energy. But first, you have to survive. "And how exactly do you suggest we do that?" "From what you've said, the Empire's technology is centuries ahead of ours." Nixes smiled, and for the first time, she let her holographic disguise fade completely, revealing her true crystalline form. Jackson's only reaction was a raised eyebrow. Another thing she'd come to appreciate about humans, their remarkable adaptability to the unusual. "The Empire's technology is more advanced," she agreed, "but it's also predictable. They haven't had to innovate in millennia. You humans, on the other hand." She projected a hologram of Earth's quantum shield experiments. "You take quantum principles we thought we understood and use them in ways that shouldn't work. Your scientists are like children who never learned the rules of quantum manipulation, so you break them constantly. And that's good. It's revolutionary. The Empire's quantum harvesting technology is based on rigid mathematical principles. But your natural quantum evolution has created patterns they can't predict. If we can amplify that effect." A sudden alert from her neural interface interrupted her. Empire ships had just appeared at the edge of the solar system, weeks ahead of schedule. "They know," she realized with horror. Starweaver must have been discovered. She turned to Jackson, her crystalline form pulsing with urgent light. "Commander, we've just run out of time. The Empire's harvest ships are here." Jackson was already moving, barking orders into his communication device. "How long?" "Days, maybe hours. They'll establish a quantum containment field around the planet first. Once that's in place, they'll begin injecting the resonance extractors into Earth's core." "Can they be stopped?" Nixes hesitated. "The Empire has never failed a harvest." But she projected a complex quantum formula into the air between them. "They've also never encountered a species that could do this." Jackson studied the formula, his eyes widening. "This is impossible. The math doesn't work." "Exactly," Nixes said. "That's why it might be our only chance. Humanity's greatest strength is doing the impossible. The question is, can you do it fast enough?" Jackson's answer was cut off by the base's emergency sirens. Above them, the sky was beginning to shimmer with the first signs of the Empire's quantum containment field. The race to save Earth had begun, and they were already behind. In her quarters that night, Nixes sent one final message to Starweaver, knowing it would likely never reach her friend. "You were right," she wrote. "They're not primitive. They're our future. If we survive this, the Empire will never be the same." As she watched Earth's scientists frantically working to adapt their quantum shields, breaking every rule of quantum physics she'd ever learned, Nixes felt something she hadn't experienced in centuries: hope. Because while the Empire had perfection and power, humanity had chaos and creativity. And in the quantum realm, chaos could be the greatest power of all. The resistance forms. The underground quantum research facility beneath the Atacama Desert hummed with desperate energy. Holographic displays filled the air, showing the Empire's harvest fleet taking position around Earth like a noose of crystalline daggers. In the center of the chaos, Commander Jackson stood with Nixes, watching humanity's best minds attack the impossible. "The quantum containment field is at 60% strength," Dr. Raina Patil announced, her fingers dancing across multiple holographic interfaces. The young quantum physicist had barely slept in 3 days, yet her eyes burned with determination. "Once it reaches 100%, their extractors can pierce Earth's core." "Show me the shield modifications again," Nixes requested, her crystalline form pulsing with concentrated light. The human scientists had taken her quantum formula and twisted it in ways that still boggled her mind. Dr. Patel projected a new series of equations, We're not trying to block their quantum field anymore. Instead, she gestured excitedly. Well, we're basically creating quantum turbulence, making Earth's natural quantum resonance so chaotic they can't get a lock on it. That's insane, came a new voice. Ambassador Kell of the Proxima Coalition stepped from the shadows, his gaseous form swirling with anxiety. Brilliantly insane, but still insane. Jackson turned, surprised. How did you get in here? The same way I got these. Kell's form solidified enough to project documents into the air. The Proxima Coalition has watched the Empire's harvests for centuries. We've never had the strength to oppose them openly, but now Earth's resistance has given you an opportunity. Nyxus finished. Her sensors detected 7 more hidden observers around the room, representatives from other spacefaring races, all watching humanity's response to the Empire's aggression. More than an opportunity, Kell corrected. Your quantum turbulence theory. It matches ancient records from before the Empire's rise. Stories of worlds that could sing with quantum fire until the Empire silenced them. Dr. Patel's hands froze above her interfaces. You're saying other planets evolved natural quantum resonance like Earth. Until the Empire harvested them, yes. But none achieved the level of natural quantum integration your species has. You don't just use quantum energy, you're evolving with it. A massive tremor shook the facility. Above them, the sky had turned an unnatural purple as the Empire's containment field strengthened. 75% containment, Dr. Patel reported grimly. We're running out of time. Then it's time to decide. Kell's gaseous form expanded, revealing the other hidden observers. The Proxima Coalition offers its full support to Earth. We have ships hidden in the Oort cloud, waiting for your signal. The Meridian Collective stands with Earth as well, announced a being of pure energy. One by one, the hidden observers revealed themselves, representatives from civilizations that had suffered under the Empire's monopoly. Each offered resources, ships, and technology far beyond Earth's current capabilities. This is more than resistance, Nyxus realized, her crystalline form brightening. This is revolution. Jackson nodded grimly. Dr. Patel, how long until the quantum turbulence shield is ready? The equations work in simulation, but we've never attempted anything like this at planetary scale. We need more power than Earth can generate. What about this? A young engineer, Jin Park, stepped forward, projecting a radical modification to their plans. We can't shield the whole planet at once, but what if we create quantum turbulence nodes at strategic points? Use Earth's natural quantum resonance to connect them. Dr. Patel studied the proposal, her eyes widening. That could work. But we'd need perfect synchronization across all nodes. My people can help with that, offered a collective consciousness representative. We exist in quantum superposition naturally. Another tremor, stronger this time. 80% containment, Dr. Patil announced. How many nodes? Jackson asked. 13. One for each tectonic plate junction. The Proxima Coalition can protect your installation teams, Kell offered. Our ships are smaller than the Empire's, easier to slip through their containment net. Jackson looked at Nyxus. Will it be enough? She studied the plans, running quantum probability calculations. The Empire expects resistance. They don't expect cooperation on this scale. And they certainly don't expect humans to understand quantum resonance well enough to weaponize it. We don't, Dr. Patil admitted. We're basically throwing quantum science out the window and hoping the universe agrees with our insanity. Exactly. Nyxus' form pulsed with something like laughter. That's why it might work. The next hours were a blur of activity. As the Empire's containment field approached completion, 13 international teams deployed across the globe, each carrying components of humanity's desperate gambit. The Coalition's ships engaged in hit-and-run tactics, not to defeat the Harvest Fleet but to distract it. In the Atacama facility, Dr. Patel and her team worked with the collective consciousness beings to synchronize the quantum nodes. Each tremor was stronger than the last as the Empire began testing Earth's defenses. 90% containment, Dr. Patil announced. Node network at 70% synchronization. The Empire's extractors are powering up, Nixus reported, monitoring their communications. Wait, something's wrong. They're detecting quantum fluctuations they don't understand. 95% containment. Node network at 85%. Jackson watched the holographic display as 13 points of light pulsed across the globe, connected by lines of quantum energy that shouldn't exist according to conventional physics. How long until they realize what we're doing? They already suspect something's wrong, Nixus said, but their protocols don't allow for retreat once a harvest begins. The Empire cannot show weakness. 98% containment. Node network at 95%. The facility's lights flickered as Earth's natural quantum resonance began responding to the node network. On the displays, the Empire's containment field wavered like a soap bubble in a storm. 99% containment. Node network, synchronized. Now, Jackson ordered. Dr. Patil activated the network with trembling hands. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the impossible began. Earth's quantum resonance, amplified and channeled through 13 synchronized nodes, erupted into a storm of quantum chaos that shattered every probability calculation in the Empire's harvest protocols. The containment field didn't just fail. It imploded, taking several harvest ships with it. It worked. Dr. Patil stared at her readings in disbelief. It actually worked. But Nix's celebration was short-lived. This isn't over. The Empire will regroup and return with a larger fleet. They have to. If word spreads that a harvest failed, let them come, Kell declared. The coalition stands with Earth now. The Empire's monopoly ends here. As if in response to his words, more ships appeared at the edge of the solar system, reinforcements, but not for the Empire. The coalition's main fleet had arrived, taking up defensive positions around Earth. Jackson watched the displays with a mixture of hope and grim determination. So this is where the real war begins. No, Nixus corrected, her form glowing with fierce pride. This is where everything changes. The Empire built its power on controlling quantum energy, but they forgot the most important rule of quantum physics, which is, Dr. Patil asked. The observer affects the observed, and humanity just proved we can all be observers. Above them, Earth's quantum resonance continued to sing through the node network, a harmony of chaos that promised to shake the foundations of an empire built on perfect order. The revolution had begun. Betrayal and alliance. High Admiral Thorne's scales had turned a deep obsidian, a color not seen in a Zenith commander for over a millennium. It meant absolute rage. The quantum harvest of Earth had failed. Worse, the humans had done the impossible. They had weaponized their natural quantum resonance in ways that defied the Empire's understanding. Explain this, he demanded, throwing up a hologram of Earth's quantum node network. First scientist Vera studied the chaotic patterns with growing fascination. They're not following any known quantum principles. They're treating quantum energy like music, creating harmonies and discords that shouldn't be possible. I don't need poetry, Vera. I need solutions. Admiral, a communication officer interrupted. We're receiving reports of unrest in the outer colonies. News of Earth's resistance is spreading. Of course it was. The Empire's perfect record of harvests had been their symbol of absolute authority for 10,000 years. Now that symbol was cracking. Send in the entire Third Fleet, Thorne commanded. We'll overwhelm their defenses with sheer force. Sir, Vira's voice had gone quiet. Perhaps we should consider another approach. The humans' quantum manipulation techniques. They're revolutionary. We could learn from them instead of. Enough. Thorne's scales rippled with fury. The Empire does not learn from lesser species. We perfect, we control, we harvest. That is our way. And that, came a new voice, is why we're losing. Starweaver stepped out of the quantum shadows, her luminescent form bearing signs of her recent escape from detention. Behind her materialized dozens of younger council members and scientists, all bearing the same look of quiet determination. You? Thorn's scales shifted to attack patterns. How dare you show yourself here, traitor? Traitor. Starweaver laughed softly. To what? An empire so afraid of change it would rather commit genocide than admit there might be other ways to understand quantum energy. The Empire's way is perfect. The Empire's way is stagnant. Vera interrupted, moving to stand beside Starweaver. We've spent 10,000 years harvesting quantum energy from other worlds, never questioning why some species evolve natural quantum resonance while we remain dependent on artificial manipulation. More figures emerged from quantum shadows. Empire scientists, engineers, even military officers. All those who had seen the truth in Earth's chaos and recognized it as evolution, not aberration. What is this? Thorn demanded. Revolution, Starweaver answered simply. Not just on Earth, but here in the Empire's heart. Look at these quantum patterns. Admiral, really look at them. The hologram shifted, showing the intricate dance of Earth's quantum node network, but now overlaid with ancient patterns from long-harvested worlds, revealing a harmony that had always existed, waiting to be understood. Impossible, Thorn whispered, but there was doubt in his voice for the first time. That's what we keep saying about humans, Vera noted. Perhaps it's time we questioned why we fear impossibility so much. Alarms blared through the chamber. On the strategic displays, the Third Fleet was engaging Earth's coalition forces. But something was wrong. The Empire's perfect formations were being disrupted by quantum turbulence that seemed to spread from ship to ship like a contagion. They've weaponized our own quantum drives against us, Vera explained, unable to hide her admiration. Those primitive humans took 3 months to understand quantum principles it took us millennia to develop, then completely reimagined how to use them. You've doomed us all, Thorn snarled. Without control of quantum energy, the Empire will have to evolve, Starweaver finished. Like humans do, like we all should have been doing all along. The chamber erupted into chaos as loyal Empire forces clashed with the revolutionaries. But Starweaver had planned for this. Quantum corridors opened throughout the spire, revealing more allies, representatives from harvested worlds, outer colony rebels, all coordinated through Earth's new quantum communication networks. The Empire's greatest fear, Starweaver announced over the fighting, was that other species might learn to use quantum energy differently than we do. We were so convinced our way was perfect that we destroyed anyone who might prove otherwise. But perfection, it turns out, is just another word for stagnation. On the displays, the Third Fleet was in full retreat, their quantum drives destabilized by Earth's chaotic resonance. But more importantly, ships from within the Empire's own ranks were breaking formation, their crews choosing evolution over blind loyalty. You can't seriously believe humans can show us a better way, Thorn said, but his scales had faded to uncertainty gray. Not alone, Vera replied, but together. Look at what they've accomplished in months by cooperating with species we've spent millennia oppressing. Imagine what we could all achieve if we stopped trying to control quantum energy and started trying to understand it instead. The revolution spread through the Empire like quantum fire, impossible to contain. Everywhere, younger generations raised on stories of perfect order looked at Earth's chaotic harmony and saw something beautiful instead of threatening. In the Atacama facility, Nixes received Starweaver's quantum transmission with joy. The Empire is fracturing, she announced to the assembled coalition. Not through force, but through inspiration. Humanity's quantum music is changing minds faster than any weapon could. And the hardliners? Jackson asked. Still dangerous, she admitted. Admiral Thorn has retreated to the Empire's core worlds with those still loyal to the old ways. They're preparing for one final attack, with everything they have. Dr. Puttle looked up from her quantum interfaces, where Earth's resonance patterns had grown even more complex. "Let them come," she said with quiet confidence. "We're not afraid of chaos anymore, and we're not fighting alone." Above them, the Coalition fleet had swelled with Empire defectors, all their quantum drives slowly synchronizing with Earth's resonance. Order and chaos, finally learning to dance together. The final battle was coming. But now it wasn't just for Earth's survival, it was for the soul of the cosmos itself. The final stand. The quantum storms above Earth painted the sky in colors human eyes had never seen before. Admiral Thorne's loyalist fleet had arrived with enough firepower to harvest a dozen worlds. But they faced something unprecedented. A coalition of humans, Empire defectors, and former victim species all synchronized to Earth's chaotic quantum resonance. In the Atacama Command Center, Dr. Patel's quantum interfaces showed the impossible becoming reality. "The harmonics are holding across all ships," she reported. "Even the Empire defectors' crystalline drives are adapting to our resonance patterns." "They're not just adapting," Nixis observed, her crystalline form pulsing with excitement. "They're evolving. Look at these patterns." The holographic display showed quantum energy flowing between ships like synapses in a vast neural network. Each vessel's quantum drive had become a node in a symphony of organized chaos, all conducted through Earth's 13 ground stations. "Thorne's fleet is moving into attack formation," Commander Jackson announced. "Traditional Empire wedge pattern. They're sticking to what they know." Of course they are. Starweaver's quantum projection appeared in their midst, her form flickering with the strain of transmitting across such distance. 10,000 years of perfect order doesn't change easily. But that's their weakness. Dr. Patel's fingers danced across her interfaces. The quantum network is showing something strange. Their attack formation. It's creating harmonic vulnerabilities. Like trying to play a single note against a symphony. Nixis finished. "Their rigid patterns can't adapt to our chaos." The first shots of the battle lit up the quantum-charged atmosphere. Empire harvesters fired concentrated beams of pure quantum energy designed to pierce planetary cores. But Earth's resonance field scattered the beams into spectacular aurora-like displays. "They're trying to establish a containment grid," Starweaver warned. "Multiple harvest ships coordinating." "Let them," Dr. Pidal said with sudden understanding. "Everyone, look at these equations. When they synchronize their ships for maximum harvest power," Jackson leaned forward, eyes widening. "They create a quantum feedback loop, one we can hijack." "Exactly. Their perfect order becomes a perfect conductor for our chaos." Above them, Thorne's fleet had arranged itself into a precise geometric pattern, their combined quantum harvesters building power for a synchronized strike that would crack Earth's crust. But they hadn't counted on the humans' greatest weapon, their ability to turn apparent weakness into strength. Now, Dr. Patel activated the modified network. Earth's quantum nodes pulsed in perfect discord. The Coalition fleet, instead of fighting the Empire's quantum containment, fed their own chaotic resonance into it. The result defied every law of quantum physics the Empire had written. The containment grid became a conductor carrying Earth's chaotic quantum patterns directly into the Empire ship's crystalline cores. Perfectly ordered quantum drives faced something they were never designed to handle: evolution. Their ships. Jackson watched in awe as the Empire fleet's crystalline structures began to change, quantum energy flowing through them in new, uncontrolled patterns. "They're not being destroyed," Nixis realized. "They're being rewritten. The same way Earth's natural quantum resonance rewrote human evolution over millennia." On the command channel, Admiral Thorne's voice rang out, scales visibly shifting through colors of panic. "Shut down all quantum drives. Return to subliminal." Too late. The transformation cascade was exponential now. Ship after ship's quantum drives evolved past their rigid programming, connecting to the greater harmony Earth had shown was possible. The Empire's perfect formation dissolved into a new pattern, organic and alive. "Admiral," Vira's voice cut through the chaos. Look at these readings. This is what quantum energy was meant to be. Not a resource to be harvested, but a force that evolves with life itself. In the Atacama facility, Dr. Patel's interfaces showed the final movement of their quantum symphony. The Empire fleet's crystalline drives had completely transformed, now resonating in harmony with Earth's chaos. Order and chaos, finally finding balance. "They're standing down," Jackson announced, almost disbelieving. "The entire Loyalist fleet. They're powering down weapons." On the command channel, Admiral Thorne's scales had shifted to a color none had seen before. The blue-white of dawn after the longest night. 10,000 years, he said quietly. 10,000 years of thinking we had mastered quantum energy. And all along, it was mastering us. The quantum storms above Earth began to calm, but the harmony remained. Ships from 100 worlds, including the transformed Empire fleet, held position in a new kind of formation, not the rigid patterns of the past, but a flowing, living network of shared evolution. "So what happens now?" Jackson asked the assembled coalition. "Now," Starweaver's projection smiled. "Now we learn. Together. The Empire's monopoly on quantum energy is over, but something better is beginning. A universe where every species contributes its own note to the greater harmony." Dr. Patel looked at her quantum interfaces, where the patterns had stabilized into something new and beautiful. "We're going to need better music metaphors," she said with a grin. "Maybe not." Nix's crystalline form pulsed with joy. "Your species taught us that sometimes the best science sounds like poetry. That chaos and order aren't opposites, but partners in the dance of evolution." Above them, Earth's quantum resonance continued its song, now joined by countless others in a symphony that would echo through the cosmos forever. The empire of perfect order had fallen, replaced by something far more powerful, a universe learning to embrace both chaos and harmony, evolution and tradition, ending and beginning, all dancing together in quantum light. In the end, humanity's greatest contribution wasn't their technology or their resistance. It was showing the cosmos that the most beautiful music comes not from playing a single perfect note, but from letting all notes play together in endless, glorious possibility. The quantum age of isolation was over. The age of harmony had begun.